Joe Macon, who is running for re-election for mayor of East Point.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
Let me ask you, why do you want to run for mayor of East Point once again?
I'm running for the mayorship of East Point because I still believe that we have a lot of work to do in the city. Um, we need to redevelop our downtown to make it a vibrant place where you can live, work, and play. We also need to improve our parks and rec, and we need to continue on our path of economic recovery. I believe I'm the candidate that can provide that for the citizens of East Point.
Okay, so what have been some of your most significant accomplishments as mayor of East Point?
Some of the most significant accomplishments that I've done as mayor of the city of East Point was that I've been able to attract large businesses to come to the city. We were able to lobby and get Dick's Sporting Goods that brought about 400 jobs with their distribution center to the city of East Point. We've also been able to lobby and get Clorox that with their distribution center that brought approximately 200 plus jobs to the city of East Point. And we've also brought the ICE unit, the Immigration and Customs Board with the federal government to the city of East Point. And they occupy about 100,000 square feet out of that Camp Creek marketplace. We've also been very successful when we've gone to lobby at Washington, D.C., and we brought back approximately $7.5 million in federal funds to the city of East Point.
All right. Well, what do you think you can do better in your next term if you are, or should I say, when you are reelected?
I think one of the things that I can do better is communicate. To be honest with you, I believe that we've done a very poor job in communicating with the citizens of East Point. We've accomplished a lot of things over this 4 years. However, because of our inability to get that information out to the citizens, many citizens are not aware of all the things that we've done. One of the things that I will share with you that we have done was that we answered audit and management questions that dated back from 2003 all the way up to 2007. Uh, those questions had to be addressed by the state. We hadn't done them, and by not doing them, we were not eligible for state grants. So all of that has been done. It took a long time to get that done, long time to get those questions answered, not just answered, but we had to put in practices that address the concerns coming out of our audits. We've done that, and I'm very proud of that.
All right. So, what sets you apart from other candidates running for mayor of East Point?
I think what sets me apart is just my experience. I think what also sets me apart is just my political will to get things done. A lot of times people talk about what they want. They'll talk about, well, we want to pave streets and we want to put fix the potholes, but they never really explain to the citizens what it's going to take to get that done. To get those things done, we need tax money and we need funds from other sources from the state and from the federal government. I've demonstrated that I can lobby and bring those funds to the city of East Point, but I want to go further than that. I think that it also is going to take more commercial and industrial growth to expand our tax base. So we can have those monies coming in and you'll see the improvements in our parks. You'll see the improvement in our roads and in our sidewalks and things of that nature. I think that that's what really sets me apart. I understand what it's going to take to get those things done.
Okay, so you bought in federal funds and stimulus money.
Yes, we have brought in federal funds. Like I said before, the $7.5 million that we have brought in, we've actually gotten stimulus money through the COPS program with the federal government for our police department. And we're still exploring ways to bring in more stimulus money into the city of East Point.
Okay, let's talk about Fort McPherson. It's closing.
Yes, Fort McPherson is scheduled to be closed in 2011, the end of 2011. The base is scheduled to be a bioscience research facility, which is going to be huge for Atlanta and the city of East Point. We're very active on that board. I sit on the implementation board for that, appointed by the governor. Uh, I think it's very important that the city of East Point get its zoning and its business practices in place before that base closes so we can take advantage of all the opportunities that it's going to present.
So, Tell me a little bit about how you want to spur development. Also, we were talking about Fort Mac, East Point, but how do you want to connect that with the downtown
Okay.
area?
Well, let me tell you what we've done. Um, 2 years ago, the city of East Point aggressively went out and got the East Point corridors tagged. Uh, this tax allocation district, much like the tax allocation district at Camp Creek Marketplace, spreads from the city limits of Atlanta to the city limits of College Park, which encompasses our downtown area. What it will allow us to do is use tax increment financing for the infrastructure. So when developers come here and they said, "Hey, we want to build in downtown. What incentive can you give us to help build downtown?" We can offer that tag, and it'll help put in the sidewalks, the street lights, all of the public things that you need to make a development grand, to make it really nice. You can notice on our Camp Creek tag, when you on the East Point side, it's very well lit. We have sidewalks. Well, when you go over to the Atlanta side, there are no sidewalks. There are no street lights. That's because they don't have that tag there. That's what a tag allows you to do. It makes the area more accessible for developers, and it makes it a better place for people to be. They want to be there because of all of the amenities that the tag will allow.
All right, and earlier you talked about parks and recreation. Tell me a little bit about what you want to do with that.
I think parks and recreation is one of the core parts of you being a vibrant city. If you don't have a place where people can recreate, and if you don't have a place where people can go on the weekends and relax, it's very hard for you to have that livability and that sustainability that the citizens want. I think that we're woefully under for our parks. I think we need more acreage. I think we need to buy more property to increase our green space, especially downtown if we want to develop that. But I also think that we need to build a new rec center. That is important. It needs to be centrally located. It needs to be a place where people want to come, where you can play racquetball, where you can have courts, where you can have pottery classes. It really needs to be the focal point of the city. And I think that's one of the major goals that I want to do in my next 4 years.
So, what are your priorities for your next term in office? You said this is one. Also, tell me about that's two questions in one, but what is MEG?
MEAG.
MEG?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me answer your first question. Well, my priorities. Downtown development is the priority. We have to develop our downtown, especially what's going on at Fort McPherson. If we do not develop that downtown area, we would be a bump in the road as people drive through East Point trying to get to Fort McPherson. It is so important that we get a start on this early. That's why the TAD is important. That's why possibly building a brand new city hall is important to phase in that development and our community center. Also, you asked me about MEAG, which
Mm-hmm.
is a good question. You can ask a lot of people that probably sit on council. They don't even know what MEAG is. What MEAG stands for is a Municipal Electrical Authority of Georgia. And it's a conglomerate of 54 cities and counties that formed together in 1975 to make their own power company. And that's where we get our power from. We are actually power producers. So um, our company, MEAG, sells power to all of our customers, which happen to be City of East Point, College Park, and a host of others.
Now, the citizens do a refund.
I hear this a lot. Let me tell you where this comes from about citizens asking for a refund from MEAG. Some years ago, some citizens may remember that there was a possibility that we were going to have deregulation in the electrical sector. Um, as MEAG cities thought about that, we tried to come up with a way of how we were going to compete against Georgia Power to keep our customers. Well, what they came up with was that they were going to charge a bit of